scales noted in the Vedic and Buddhist thought, and injunctions to charity found in Islam. So all of these vital guardrails for human interaction. So it's a big mish, whatever. When you come to religious, that whole ball of wax right there, religion. Because favorite technique, Chris is asking what my favorite technique for utilizing a sigil. My favorite for Chris, is that for utilizing it as into making it be useful for what I need it to be useful for, or utilizing it towards specifically? So specifically, let's say, because I wear two sigils. There's two sigils I wear all of the time, and a couple of other things. Method. Yes, that's what I thought. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, I'm getting awesome notes from Kat. You may not be able to hear her, but I'm sorry, I'm speaking out loud because I'm blind as a bat and I'm on my laptop. So sorry about it. But I and I for the sigils that I wear, it requires an offering of sorts. And the offering has to be from me. Just like when you offer yourself at the foot of the cross. What do you bring? What kind of gifts are you bringing? If you're asking for sigil work to be done for certain things or for certain protections and things like that, the ones that I actually wear, which I won't divulge the ones that I actually wear, but I actually utilize them in protection with my own, pause for effect, blood. And the reason for that is because I practice a form of blood sorcery. And in and of itself, is that black magic? Nope. Hi, Brenda. I'm glad that you're liking the conversation. Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for listening. And so when I do stuff like that, let's say that I take up a different sigil. I've had these sigils because getting sigils made the correct way are not cheap at all. And because they're made under different circumstances and things like that. I mean, you can go and buy a cross or whatever, but like when my mother gave me, I actually have a rosary that my mother had made for me, and she had it blessed. Yes, blessed. I actually own a blessed rosary that I keep by my bedside every night. So, and it's she had it hand beaded by some little old Jesuit lady, nun of some. I don't know if they're Jesuits or Carmelite. Maybe they're Carmelites in Bellingham. I'm not sure, but she hand beaded it with my birthstone. Since you can get opals. I was born in October, so I really love my opals, but it's a pink, almost like a pink quartz stone that she had it done with to kind of resemble that rose zircon to go into my prayer beads. And do I know all the prayers for the for the rosary? I absolutely do, backwards and forwards. And that is right by my bedside. And it's not because it's a religious item, it's because it's a protection item. My mommy had that made for me, and I have a lot of respect for her religious beliefs. I have a lot of respect for other people's religious beliefs. It's like, if that's what you believe, then that's awesome and it's beautiful. But I just don't believe in smacking people around with religion. That's one thing. I'm here to educate and extrapolate. So if you do have questions, don't be shy. I'm very happy to answer them. Dripping in blood and all. That, yes, I do certain things, but I am a science freak. I am all about how science changes lives. It's like I mentioned in another conversation, on somebody else's show that we have proven that prayer actually does work. We've scientifically proven it. People that don't even know that they're being prayed for, being miraculously healed. You know why? Because you've got a bunch of people pushing their intent for that person to be well and to have their life back. Now, how beautiful would it be if we all felt like that about each other and tried to lift each other up instead of pushing each other down because of our personal beliefs? I'm just saying. And it's food for thought. Even though, people ask me if I pray. In a way, yes, I do. I meditate. And I meditate on trying to reach a better point of myself and trying to reach out to, maybe I am trying to find my way to God. Because I know that there is something there because I felt it. I'm a paranormal investigator. I believe in something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wandering around in the dark, bumping into things and making a fool out of myself when I don't find anything and just having fun running around in the woods. Obviously, I believe in something, right? You'd have to. I don't know too many nihilists or atheists that actually go paranormal investigating. I just don't. I don't know. If any of you guys know anybody who is a nihilist or a flat out atheist that does any form of para anything, please let me know. I mean, I could see that they would make great debunkers because if they don't believe in it, either that or you're going to scare the jeebers out of them and they're going to find belief in something. That is for sure. Excuse me, my allergies here. But we're talking about, we got a little bit derailed, but the questions are awesome, so don't be afraid to ask. So we have all these injunctions of responsibility, and it's not just injunctions, it's things that you feel like growing up in Sunday school. I grew up in church from the time I was in those car seats. My mother is a church musician. Her father was a church musician. It's kind of strange when you really think about it that I'm a church musician, but but seeing all this and having all of these things instilled from right and wrong, and these are things that we know from the time we're little kids, even if you didn't go to Sunday school when you're little. It's just basically how you want to be treated. Would you want somebody to steal from you? No. Would you want somebody to come and smack you for no reason? No. Then don't do it to somebody else. Basic, right? Now, if most people would quit acting like kindergartners, then we'd all be better off. I'm just saying. But then the rights and those responsibilities, feeling that generosity and responsibility for other people, which doesn't always happen, but a lot of times that's where our guilt comes from, that we weren't so generous with that one person or didn't reach out to that other person or whatever, feeling some karmic thing or dogma because we didn't do this or that. Excuse me. So with all of this in all regard, we're talking about basic vital guardrails for those human interactions, reactions. Like attracts like, so your choice is to go out of the house and be a good person or try to be the best you that you can be. Because sometimes just opening that door at the 7-Eleven for somebody might be the only hope that one person sees all day. That might turn that one person's life around in a day. Just doing that one thing. And you didn't have to do anything. You just opened the door for somebody. Who knew, right? Little things, right? So, in saying all of this, so we're going on our esoteric journeys here, occult, black magic, that if you're going to venture out on an occult or esoteric journey of any kind, that it's super crucial to have a historic, religious, or ethical teaching at your back. Otherwise, it is super easy to get lost or swayed, because that's when you get into cults and you get into people on the internet telling you a bunch of bunk that's not even true, or selling you snake oil of some sorts. Um, you know, I had somebody ask me not too long ago what book he or she should carry on a venture like out into the wild, misty moors of the nowhere, because I'm being all dark and mysterious or whatever. It's like, if you don't know from Adam, basically, what you're doing, I'm going to tell you the King James Bible. You know why? And it's going to sound crazy. It's like, you need to get to know this first and master the more understood things about our humanity and our human culture thus far in history before diving deeper in with Alice and her very delicious companions. Because the words, the deeds, the history, and I'm not saying playing Russian roulette with the King James Bible, I'm saying actually reading it from cover to cover and reading it in its entirety and getting to know that first before you go anywhere else. Because otherwise, nothing is going to make sense to you. You're not going to understand half the words that are coming in front of your face. I've had to learn other languages to read the books that I do to educate myself further. And I know that sounds super strange, but when I was right before I went into middle school, I started learning Latin. I actually took Latin classes so that I could read Dante's Inferno because I was told that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And it started there because I was just so enamored of the subject and everything else. And so, I mean, I'm always striving to try to better myself in some way. And from that, going into other texts. I mean, I was already going into other texts that were translated from the original Latin. And having learned how to read Latin and translate it myself, I went back to read other esoteric items. And while we're thinking about Latin and esoteric and the occult, I do have to say that we're ready for another break here on our awesome radio station of wbhm-db.com. And this is Tripping the Void with Sarafine Hurley, and we'll be right back. It's 9:43 almost.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour.
And thank you for hanging on here at Tripping the Void at wbhm-db.com, Paranormal Experience Radio. It is 9:45, and we're still talking about black magic and multimedia and the occult. And Yeah. So